This is a tutorial on how to play World Insured by Alex G, or at least how I interpreted it. I don't know if this is exactly how he plays it on the studio version, but I think it's pretty close. And in my original cover, I actually played it wrong, so I'm not going to be teaching it exactly how I played it there. It's still pretty close, but there's a few changes. Like how I would switch in my cover, I only switched from this G chord to like this weird G chord, and I would do that every single time. But in the actual studio version, I think he alternates from switching from the G chord to this weird G to the G chord to an E minor. Like every other time, he'll switch to either the weird G or the E minor. I think that's how he plays it in the song, but I'm not sure. And then also in my cover, I did this thing where I would slide up, and I don't think he does that at all in the actual song. I was just adding that for like extra flair, but I don't know if that's what he actually does. If I'm wrong, I'm open to any corrections in the comments. I'll also try to make a tab, like with any corrections that anyone wants to make. But I'll probably make a tab anyways, just in case people learn better from tabs than tutorials. But it starts off with just a G chord, the G chord, middle finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and then ring finger on the 3rd fret of the high E string. And it starts off with you play the low E string open and hammer on to the 3rd fret, and then after you do that, you strum down and up once, so it's, and then you play the A string open and hammer onto the 2nd fret, and then you do those 2 strums again, and then you play the D string open and hammer onto the 2nd fret, and then you just do the same like 2 strums again, so it's, and then after you do the, after you hammer on to the 2nd fret of the D string, you strum down again, and I don't know exactly how many strums you do in between, but I don't know how to explain it exactly, so I'm just gonna play it and see if you guys can kind of. My dog is sniffing the microphone. I think she needs to go outside. Hold on, I will pause right here and I'm gonna take my dog outside. Alright, my dog is back from her bathroom break, and after you hammer on to that D string, you want to keep your index finger planted there, and you want to strum 4 more times, and on the 4th strum, my dog is back, and on the 4th strum, you want to lift your ring finger from the high E string and just let that open E ring out. And you really want to emphasize the open E when you play it. Sorry, my dog is like sitting right here. Look. Oh, you can only see her. You can only see her torso, but yeah. So just like this. So on the 4th fret, you just let that open E bring out, and then you strum a few more times, still with that that ring finger off, and you just want to keep your middle and your index exactly where they were. So you just want to strum this a few more times. So, and then right here, you just want to move your middle finger down 1 string to the 3rd fret on the A string. And then you just want to play that a few more times. And then towards the end, you want to plant your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and then on the last strum, Well, no, it wouldn't be on the last drum. But you want to lift it back up and let it ring out towards the end of playing this chord. So it's like, just like that. I don't know exactly how to explain like what strum you put your finger down and what strum you take it off, but you can kind of just get a feel for it when you're actually playing it. And then after you do that, you play. After you remove your ring finger, you strum a few more times, and then you just go right back to that G chord and just play everything you just did. And instead of switching to that weird G after you're done playing this, you want to switch to an E minor instead. So it'll be like, and on the E minor, I kind of just play it without. I don't know if you plant your you can either plant your pinky or your ring. I find it easier to plant my pinky on the 3rd fret of the B string when I'm playing an E minor. But I don't even know if he does that. Like, I feel like the E sounds better when you just play it as it is and you don't add any like accent notes or anything. So it's just, so I keep messing up, but that's pretty much it. On the E chord, you can either add that B string or you can just play the E string or the E chord as it is, the E minor as it is. And I mean, that's pretty much it. It's just that loops the entire song, and I don't think there's any variations to it or anything. I'm sorry if I did a pretty sloppy job at explaining. I've never done a guitar tutorial or anything, but I'm gonna try to tab the song as well and leave that in the description if that's less confusing. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, and I'm gonna try to release another Alex G cover this weekend, and I'll try to start getting them out every weekend because those perform really well on my channel, whereas my own music content doesn't. So I'm gonna start posting a lot more Alex G covers to get some traction on my channel, hopefully. But thank you for watching, and if you have any Alex G song requests, just leave them in the comments and I will try to cover them.